take care of you.
Hey y'all, it's your PR Diva here. So let's have a conversation about ASAP Rocky, because we all want to have a conversation about ASAP Rocky, right? Not so much. But, in the beginning, this started out as a, oh, woe is me, no one really cares because ASAP isn't invited to the cookout anymore anyway, after the comments he made about the Black Lives Matter movement. And for those of you who aren't familiar, I got my handy dandy paper so I can read to you verbatim what his comments were, because I don't need anybody in my comments talking about that's not what he said. So just to catch you up to speed, in an interview in 2015, when asked about, the Black Lives Movement, Ferguson, and things of that nature, ASAP Rocky's response was, "They're not forcing me to do ish. I'm just going to stay black and die. Why? Because I'm black. So every time something happens because I'm black, I got to stand up. What the F am I? Al Sharpton now? I'm ASAP Rocky. I did not sign up to be no political activist. I want to talk about my mother effing lean," which is drugs, for any of you who, again, there's a lot of people watching these videos, so I want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. So mother effing lean, my best friend dying, the girls that come in and out of my life, the jiggy fashion that I wear, my new inspirations and drugs. I don't want to talk about no effing Ferguson and ish because I don't live over there. I live in effing Soho and Beverly Hills. I can't relate. I'm in the studio. I'm in these fashion studios. I'm in these bees drawers. I'm not doing anything outside of that. That's my life. So that's how he felt about Black Lives Matter. So when he went to Sweden and was arrested, for those of you who don't know that part either that are watching, so he was being taunted. He and his entourage were being taunted by some people in Sweden, and apparently his bodyguard picked up this young man and moved him away from the situation. ASAP Rocky is in the video saying, no one wants to go to jail, and just being very adamant that he doesn't want to get involved in any BS because he knows how it could turn out. Unfortunately, it turned out that way anyway, and he ended up incarcerated. He's been incarcerated for several weeks now. Initially, he wasn't charged. And at the last minute, when the time was up for him to be charged, they did charge him with assault. So again, initially, we didn't care. We, the black delegation, did not care because he wasn't invited to the cookout. He didn't care about Black Lives Matter. So we don't care about you. However, now that he's been there for a while, and the actual charges have been pressed, it's starting to get a little shaky. It's just a little, because in the videos, I'll add a link to the video so you can see the altercation. Like I said, for those who aren't familiar, he actually didn't do anything. He didn't initiate contact. He didn't start the bullying. He didn't start the taunting. It was actually nothing that he did, which is why I feel like a lot of us thought he was going to come home. But that ain't it. That's not what happened. So I think now we have to put our little violin away, because this is actually an issue. It's a real problem, especially when you have the bully that sits on the stand and now claims to have been bullied. He's talking about he can't work, which he probably didn't have a job. I'm assuming we do it. But he says he can't work. He's having nightmares, all these things as a result of what he did. Because again, ASAP Rocky was not the aggressor. And so they're charging him, and the aggressor was not charged at all. So there's a very fine line that we are dealing with right now when it comes to race issues and dealing with the laws of another country. America is very liberal in a lot of aspects, and we do things way differently than a lot of other countries. So Jada Pinkett Smith brought attention to the fact that when G-Eazy was arrested in Sweden, he was actually able to strike a deal, pay some money, and go home. G-Eazy is he's obviously not African American. And so that brings greater attention to the racial divide and the racial under and overtones of ASAP Rocky's arrest. So now, as a people, we have to figure out, do we take back and embrace the person who in his past life did not agree with the ills of the Black community? Or do we leave him to fend for himself, for lack of better words, over in Sweden while his trial is going on? Because now it's become serious. Like initially, like I said, and I keep saying, initially we didn't take it seriously. We didn't take it seriously for a number of reasons, mostly because of him and his own words and his own actions. But then again, when it becomes a racial issue and we are looking at a huge divide in the way that an African American artist was treated versus a Caucasian artist in very similar situations. Well, no, not necessarily similar, because G-Eazy was caught with drugs and using drugs and some other things that were on his person that he was really guilty of, and he got away with it. And the person who's not guilty is still sitting in jail. So I'm on the fence. I don't know. So I just wanted to come on here and do this video and kind of get your comments about what you feel about the ASAP Rocky situation. How do you feel that it's going to play out, I guess, for lack of better words? Like, what do you think? Like, how do you feel? And again, let me say this again. It's a different country. It's a very different country with different laws, different rules. We see here in the United States that seeing things on video does not always equate to someone being guilty, which is what's happening over there, because there is video to show that he is not guilty of the things that they are saying he's guilty of, yet he is the person that's on trial. So I'm really curious, we feel sorry for him. We're empathetic of, what he's going through. Obviously, this has to be hard on him and his family and everybody that's going through this with him. So it's very difficult to say after he gets through this, however it ends up. Are we inviting him back to the cookout? Is he re-invited? Are we giving him his card back? What do you think? Let me know. It's your PR Diva. I'm out.